Care package inbound.
Greetings travellers, stay a while and listen. Hello everybody, this is AJ back with another monster video, and this is again in my series of dragon videos. This time we're going to be covering what is possibly one of the favourite evil dragons of most people, which is the black dragon. Now, black dragons are thoroughly wicked beasties. No two ways about it. They, in my books, they're the most evil of dragonkind because they're the most sadistic, right? So they love to torture and torment and ruin everything around them. They are the dragons of decay and rot and torment and terror and torture. So, the flip side, the other side of the coin of the black dragon, if you look at their physical stats and their general physical makeup, is the copper dragon. A copper dragon is the antithesis of a black dragon. They are polar opposites of each other physically and mentally. So the copper dragon is very cheerful and happy. It's a prankster and stuff. It has a wicked sense of humour. So it's the good side of the semi-maliciousness of the real true maliciousness of black dragon. So a black dragon has a sense of humour, but it is thoroughly evil. So what do they like to do? First of all, they've got acid for breath. They are not the strongest physically of dragons. The red dragon is by far the strongest of all of the chromatic dragons, just on physical power. So it could kick a black dragon's ass, and the black dragon knows it. The black dragon knows that it's kind of the lower rung of dragonkind, but its ego and sadistic nature means that it's quite happy to sit in the shadows and avoid dragon politics. It really fears and hates other dragons. It would be quite happy to torture and kill every other dragon in existence, apart from, I guess, its mate of the day. I would imagine in your campaign world there may not be a lot of black dragons. I don't know, it's really up to you, but wherever they are, they cultivate vile decay and a breakdown of society and a victimization of communities around them. Any weaker person than them, any weaker being, is victimized. So they personify bullies and things like that. So they attract wicked-hearted creatures who become even more wicked. They're like a den of vampires that nest together and become more vicious and messed up. So they have blood rites and sacrifice, and it's you know, the only way to end a contest or anything like that is through death. Fights to the death, which the dragon would watch on with glee. It'd probably find nothing better than an afternoon of watching its underlings kill each other. So they nest and lair in the ruins of ancient civilizations, and in particular civilizations which they themselves have brought to ruin. So a young black dragon will find shipwrecks, it will find ruins, it will find a burnt out church, it will find some defiled site somewhere, perhaps even some monument that a great battle between two powers ruined and reduced to rubble, and it will dig its way down and bathe in the succulent, the rotted tapestries and gleaming treasures of the past, with the corpses of old kings and things just sort of lolling to their side, and they'll be like flicking them in the head every now and then, contemplating how best to bring the ruin of all humanoid civilizations. They're not so much interested in having servants. They are interested in having toadies, playthings. So sooner or later, if you're in the service of a black dragon, they will kill you. It's pretty much guaranteed. They're sadistic killers, and sooner or later their boredom will just result in murder. Even if they have some sort of deal with you, they'll find a way to double cross you and stab you in the back. Now in combat, they will target the weakest of you first. They'll definitely go for whoever they see as the smallest and the weakest. And if that physically means that they specifically target the magic user, because the magic users generally are threats, they will go after them. They'll look for halflings. They'll look for injured party members. They'll look for the smallest, the weakest, the fairest. The most waif-like and frail looking, and they will target them specifically to kill them. They go out of their way to kill them first off, to bolster their confidence and to scare the living bejesus out of anybody else in the party. So Black dragons are deadly in first contact. They are out to kill someone straight away with as much force as they possibly can. They will use their underlings in any way they see fit, and because the underlings are murderous and vicious and compete amongst themselves in deadly contests anyway, they are suicide troopers. They're fanatics who will go out of their way to kill themselves as long as they get that shot in. So we're talking kobolds with poison strapped to themselves that just launch themselves in a splashing acid attack that burns them too. You're talking about lizard folk who literally push each other forward in a mass charge, and they're wearing spikes and barbs, and they're gouging each other as they come at you. Just scary amounts of viciousness. They will have shambling mounds and other creatures. The twig blight critters. They'll have all sorts of corrupted nature spirits and things like that. Hags, mental dryads, just anything and everything that's corrupted and twisted around them. They like hanging out in swamps and things like that, but they can hang out in any sort of environment that doesn't necessarily have to be water, although they can breathe underwater. They're amphibious, and they will most certainly use water to their advantage. Much like another flying dragon will leap into the air to get out of the way of harm's way, a dragon can easily plunge into very deep depths of water and just be out of sight and hit and fade you. Perhaps their lair is on the middle of an island and they just run into the sea, go to a little stash of healing potions or something like that, heal themselves back up and come back and get you again and again and again. And perhaps have minions like, or even deal with aboleths or other sort of crazy horrible creature, sea serpents and things like that that are under the sway of the black dragon that it's raised since they were hatchlings, that will do anything to keep you on that island and keep you trapped. It may even have servant drow who have no choice but to bow to the black dragon's wishes. Perhaps there's some long play that they're going through to keep the dragon under control in their territory, or perhaps they've struck some sort of deal by having something over the dragon, say that it's got some sort of doomsday device stuck on the back of its head, that if it tampers with it, it'll blow up and kill it. Black dragons are conniving and self-serving, so they will bargain for their own life, but they will never be subservient to anyone unless basically a fate worse than death is in store for them. So if you threaten to turn them into a zombie or something like that, or transform them, or I don't know, something really, really nasty, they will work for you. But generally speaking, they're going to be trying to kill you at every chance that they can possibly get. They're as bad as devils and trying to get out of contracts and things like that. They're quite smart. They've got intelligence of 16 when they're ancient, but they're not really, really smart. I mean, other dragons are way more intelligent. Even the Coppin dragon is way more intelligent, charismatic, and wise than a black dragon. A black dragon is ruled over by its maliciousness, greed, self-servingness, and sadism. Really, it manifests itself in a lack of self-control, and a lack of foresight in cultivating its troops and not killing them off. So really, it's only interested in having the strongest bullies around under its service. And even then, if there's no greater sport involved, it will kill them off because they just don't care. They're sadistic to the point of stupidity. And that is black dragons, really. Their lair actions, of course, all involve, watery graves and all that sort of stuff. In the region around them, water sources become tainted and horrible. There's thick growths of twisted plants, crops will spoil, you'll get fungal growths growing over everything, people will get athlete's foot and be itching and with scabies and things. There's a general malaise that overlays everything, and everyone gets this miasma of sick, humid, fly infested, everything tastes dank and horrible, and they get more and more vicious towards each other. So crimes are punished harshly, crowds will show up to stone people to death. The magistrates will always rule in favour of whatever is the harshest and the cruelest and the most draconian measures. Merchants will always try and cheat you or just won't care. They won't provide anything for free, you'll never get a free lunch, and there's this pervasive sense of, we can't be bothered moving, I know it's shit here, but that's just the way it is. And then when the dragon is killed, it lifts and the clouds come out and the rot just slowly burns away. So yeah, the land is twisted. There's swamps and reeking liquids, spoiled milk. Everything sort of rots prematurely. Bread is practically mouldy after it cools out of the oven, and yeah, there's a mist, a miasma, which overlays everything. So you get these tired vultures and things which are swooping out of the mist to peck it, even just barely. Like a creature can't even sleep without being assumed dead and pecked at by a vulture. They cultivate swarming insects and things, so their lairs are vicious and difficult. There's stinging nettles, there's swarms of biting insects, everything's poisonous and reeking. There's all sorts of fungus, like shrieking fungus, and toxic spores, not so much hallucinogenic as just like vicious ones that make you cough and choke up and cough up blood and stuff. You could manifest that if you're in their lair for a certain amount of time. It will cost you exhaustion points, so you will end up being exhausted, even to the point of death if you hang around too long, because there's just this, it's just too much. Their supernatural nature allows them to resist all that sort of stuff, but it's too much for like a creature that doesn't have scaly skin and things. They have magical darkness that they can use to obscure things, and feel free to use any sort of corrupting, dark, and dismal magic, or things that are evil and bad, and it uses them to like, it will use another creature to touch an object which is cursed, just in order to use that curse against somebody else. It will easily twist and torment and crush anybody that comes in contact with it. And every interaction with this thing it's a dismal feeling, a pervasive dismal feeling of these things that they just are thoroughly, unredeemingly evil. So even if you have one of them under your sway, you just want to get away from this thing. It's just a downer. Yeah, black dragons are a downer, man. They're bad. Have fun.